Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's on the road to having a beautiful day today. And I'm doing this video because I've heard several things over the past several days, and I feel that it was incumbent upon me to say something, and I felt compelled to do so. And I try not to. I don't make a lot of videos anymore about beef sector stuff, but uh, yeah, had to, I felt the need to weigh in because I do have some of the information, but also um, the slick shade as well. I need to respond to that. And Cap, this is for you, especially for you. Let me be clear about that. Because, first of all, you are a newbie to Club Chat. Okay? When all that stuff you were talking about that happened in 2021 and 2019 and 2018 or whatever, you weren't even in Club Chat or a part of it at that time. You're a newbie, okay? And you have no standing to discuss or say something about what went on back then because all you're going on is what you heard. You weren't there. You weren't behind the scenes. You weren't listening. You weren't participating. So, as far as you are concerned and your take on what happened years ago, um, you don't have enough, you're not qualified to speak on it because you're only going by what you heard, not what you know firsthand. So, being newbie that you are, you're behaving somewhat like I did when I was first in there, when I first became, um, I think when I was in there in the beginning, it was not a cult. It only became one later. But you're behaving just like I was, okay? Slowly but surely. But what you did, my thing is what you all did to Yaya over the past couple of days was wrong and unfair, and you exhibited uh, Hallmark cult behavior. And I'm going to show you, and it's documented, okay? It's defined. And what you did to her was unfair. See, you tried to spin a narrative. And apparently you felt that if so many people said the same thing, you would deflect from what the actual issue was. I peeped that. Deflect it. But her issue was not whether or not what she said or whatever, what she, said at one point in time. It's how he characterized it. That's one thing. But the main thing was she called him and asked him if he had said that, and he said he did not. It was at that point that she listened to that podcast and she heard it for herself. And like most people, she was angry because he lied to her face because she thought that he could say, well, yeah, I said it, or, and blah, 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 whatever. He said he didn't say it. But to characterize it as a dope fiend or whatever, that's slander and defamation right there. And the fact that it had to be characterized that way because you didn't think anybody would hear it. That's the point. So what happened next was here comes everybody talking about, well, she said this and she said that. That wasn't her issue. Her issue was that he lied and said he did not say it. That was the point she was trying to make. And that's what angered her. And she had every right to be angry. But you all are saying, oh, well, she must have been mad at him all this time or whatever. If she had thought that, she wouldn't have even bothered to call and ask him. because she thought she had more of a relationship with him, a better relationship than I guess it turns out that she didn't have because he lied to her. And I know the feeling because he lied on me, okay, over and over again within a short space of time. So, and that's disappointing to someone who has feels that they have a connection with a person. But you all attacked her like a swarm of bees that was protecting the queen bee. And again, that's cultish behavior 103 because I put 101 and 102 on my community wall. So the thing that I had a problem with was you all coming for her. He's a grown ass man. I ain't that the that's the truth right there. He can speak for himself. He shouldn't need a group of people to speak with him. He could have just come out and said, hey, yeah, I said it, or whatever, which he should have done with her on the phone. But he didn't. He lied. And when she cussed him out, here come all of y'all. Oh no, she's talking about our dear leader. She mustn't do that. She's talking about Sean, the same shit you did with me. Mm-hmm. I wasn't talking about him at the time. I was just defending myself. But anyway, I digress. So what you did to her was wrong. And spinning a narrative, making people think if so many people say it and keep saying it and keep saying, you'll drum it into people's heads and gloss over what her real issue was and tell, well, she said this and she said that. She did. No, her point was if you had listened to her, and maybe sometimes you don't need to have stuff filtered to you through him, listen to what she actually said. She said she was upset because he lied to her face. Period. And this could have been avoided because all he had to do was say, yeah, I said it. That was it. And she went over to the podcast and listened for herself and learned that he lied on her. He lied on her and he lied to her. And as far as calling somebody a dope fiend, um, you didn't know her back then. None of you did. So you don't know what was going on to say that she was a dope fiend. See, you have to have, before you make that kind of characterization of somebody, you need to know firsthand that that was the case. There's a whole lot of stuff that people could call dope fiends. Ozempic is one. Some people are addicted to BBLs. Yeah, there's a lot of addictions out there, but that doesn't mean that you're a fiend. So, it was really unfair for you all to attack her like that. And it was childish, junior high school shit, and cultish behavior. Yes, indeed. And I can prove it to you. When I get to the end, I'll show you. But for y'all to do that to that lady like that, you know, and I've heard you big up her in Zooms and say, oh, yeah, 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 oh, yeah, this and that. But that's what you do. You build people up, but you don't mean it. I don't know of anybody that you like except for Steve. That's all I know about you. I don't think you like anybody or care about anybody. That's my opinion, though, because I don't know that for a fact because I can't get in your head. But that's what it appears to be from my perceptions of you. Okay, we'll put it like that because I don't want you to say I'm lying on you. But my perception is that you don't care about anybody but Steve. That's it. That's all. Now, um, the other thing is that the thing that people have a problem with, they say, well, why are you concerned? We can say what we want to say. We can say we want to talk what we want to talk about. And da 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 da. The problem that people have with it is the hypocrisy, because it is you all who have said you are above the people in the B sector, that you're better than the people in the B sector. You have better lives than the people in the B sector. That's what you said. That's what you all have been saying, especially recently. And I quoted one of the people who said it in a previous video. And yet, and then you say people have no lives and that sort of thing, you know? Uh, but yet, you're over there talking about and watching people that you feel you're better than, listening to people that you think you are above, even when you're on vacation. As I said in my last video, people sent me screenshots showing that, hey, you all are, that's all that's on your Patreon. So you cannot say that you feel, so people have a problem with that hypocrisy. It's like, well, if you're so far above us and you got so much to do, how do you have 3 hours and 2 hours and whatever to discuss us? I don't get that. And that's what people are looking at. And that's what the problem that they're having with it. It's hypocrisy. It's BS is what it is also. And you consistently, that's all you talk about. You go over to your podcast, you don't hear anything about, oh, the stock market, you know, dropped today. I wonder how that will impact us. Never anything like that. And I think that the problem that a lot of people have with that is that you consistently do this, and you consistently try to act like you're so much better. Like I said, there are people over there that do have careers. And so a lot of them don't, well, 4 or 5 of them anyway, they don't have time to listen to things. But why would they be so interested? Is this their life? Or you say, Cap says, people have no life or whatever. According to him, everybody's ugly and everybody has no life. But anyway, that's the other issue. And the thing is, you say club chat only happens when Sean Bradley is live. But the name of the podcast is Club Chat. The name of Patreon is Club Chat. Even though that is trademarked, by the way, by someone else in Canada. Even though he lied to my face and said it wasn't. But these narratives you try to spin and say, club chat only happens when he's live. That's BS. I call BS on that right away. But, the fakeness and the lying and so on, it's really absurd is what it is. But I sent that link to Rick Reed because Sean had told people that I was in his Zoom and I was in his Patreon under a troll page and all this kind of stuff. And then Just Lovely confirmed that the particular one I'm speaking of that I addressed, she said, you wouldn't have been known about it because that was a private Zoom and you were in there. No, he put that private Zoom on his podcast. Now, riddle me this. Did Just Lovely lie when she said that? No, I don't think she did. But everybody lying now when they're saying, oh yeah, we knew this and we knew that. And that podcast, from my understanding, was supposed to be for people who had missed the Zoom. Period. That's it, that's all. And now you got that other thing over there. You got another place where you can put it for the people who missed it or who may have missed it. So why are you still putting it over there? Hmm. So anyway, I sent that to show, hey, you know what? You don't even have to sign in. Just go to Club Chat. There it is. So you didn't want that to be heard. You didn't ever think it would be heard. And I sent that to him for that reason, because you had said that I was listening and I was lurking around in your Zooms and all that kind of stuff. No, I only caught him on replay, honey. I don't have no troll pages to go up in Zooms and that kind of stuff. But speaking of Patreon, you still owe me $3, so let's get real petty, okay? Because I wasn't in there the full month of March of 2024 because I ended it immediately. And I don't appreciate you saying that I want to be over there with you all, or I'm this and I'm that. I have a real life. I really do. And you even had the nerve to say that I was, you know, jealous because you guys were riding with Patrice. No, I walked away from that woman. I walked away from her because I felt she was fake. And then she lied on me in the Zoom. Yeah, she lied. So, no, she needs you all. I don't. And, my life is happier and fuller as a result of not being over there, you know, uh, really. It really is. Because as soon as you said, I think you need to take a break from Club Chat, I talked to my family, and my son and my man both said, make it permanent. And that's when I um, stopped the Patreon and everything else. I was done because that's what you do. You throw people away when they don't obey. Hmm. So, yeah, I sent that to him because he was telling everybody that you were telling everybody, um, Sean, that I was lurking around and whatever here and there in your Zooms and everything else and in your Patreon. I can't access your Patreon nor your Zooms. Don't want to, but I will check them. I sure will. And those are the ones that I responded to on my page, on my channel. So to have people come out and then, oh no, he didn't send us. We da 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 da. People running around doing lives and this and that and interjecting. You're a grown man, Sean. Why Cap got to come out here? Hmm? Now, Cap, as far as you are concerned, again, because he elevated you to, quote, his sidekick. And from what the streets are saying, you living there with him or whatever. I don't know that for a fact. That's what the streets are saying. But you think you're better than somebody. You think you're a cut above everybody. You think you're special now. You're not. Ain't nobody special. Mm-mm. And your affiliation with him damn sure doesn't make you special. But in your mind, in your eyes, it does. And unfortunately, in some other people's eyes and minds as well. But I'm sorry. I don't want to be um, aligned with somebody who lies. No, that's not for me. Not at all. I can't stand a liar. So um, I had to clear that up. And I guess, he went over and Rick Reed went over and listened to it. And he listened to all of it because I only listened to the parts that were pertinent to me. I didn't hear all this other stuff he had said. And hopefully um, you'll wise up and put it over there where your people who missed it can get it. And stop making excuses because you did not intend for that to be heard by the people involved. You didn't intend for me to hear it because you thought I was still in your Zoom. And I never knew where the podcasts were. I never went to them because I was tired of following your unstable um, actions, going here and there, here and there, here and there. And I just didn't go over there. I never went to the podcast until, recently. And you thought that nobody would know about it. Because I know you well enough to know a lot of things you said, you would have said, this is open, so don't say this or that. No, you didn't say any of that. But let me tell you something so you can be well aware of where I stand and and where things stand. You know, recording someone, being made aware that you're being recorded does not give you permission or grant you permission or authority to um, replay someone else's voice when they have been told that it's private. And that's what you did to me. And nobody knew that the private family Zooms were going over there. I sure didn't at the time. Now, if you've changed it, but they'll just agree with whatever you say. But the last thing I want to talk about before I show you the Cult 103 is Cap. You called me old Agnes, and you said a few things, but then you said my brain is rattled. You call me an old bat. That's what y'all do. You call me old this, old that. And then you said my brain was rattled, but my brain wasn't rattled enough to where I didn't catch your slick shade and your subliminal, because everything you described was what you all had been saying about me all along. That's called critical dissection of what is said. hmm And then you said, and we told her to go sit. You didn't tell me anything. Okay. The only thing is that you told me, I love you, Miss Rael, and I love you, Miss Rael. That's what you told me. You didn't tell me to go sit down and go, whatever you said. You said you didn't say that to me. But that's the problem. Okay. That's part of being in a cult, is when you say, instead of saying I, me, mine, you say we, us, ours. Your individuality is gone because you're speaking now as a group. But you didn't tell me anything. And then you said, go sit in a corner. Don't nobody sit me in no corner, dude. My mama couldn't sit me in a corner. I had to take a whipping because I didn't sit in no corner. Well, what am I supposed to be? A child? Go sit in a corner, old lady. No, I'm going to go to a concert. I'm not sitting in no corner. I'm going to go to a festival. I'm going to go out to dinner. I'm going to travel. I don't need you all to travel. I'm going to have a full life. I'm going to spend time with my man. hmm I'm going to spend time on my other platforms where I'm enjoying a lot of, you know, it's doing good. So for you to say, we told her to go sit in a corner. How condescending and patronizing is that to tell someone that they needed to go sit in a corner? You didn't tell me that. Nobody used that word, go sit in a corner. Because if somebody had, I would have cussed them smooth out. I don't care who it was. Go sit in a corner? I got furniture in my corners. What the hell are you talking about? But then you say my brain is rattled. Let me tell you something. You do your little, I've never watched your political things, but you think you're smart. You think you're smarter than you are. But I am an intellectual. That's how I'm viewed by people who know me. I just don't do it on here. But you're trying to be smart and um, trying to make somebody else look like they're stupid and say my brain is rattled. You could never match my intellectual capacity. You could not even survive a game of chess with me. Okay? But you don't know anything about me to be able to say my brain is rattled and I need to go sit in a corner. I'm still a productive citizen, a productive human being. And for you to say something like that shows just where you are. You think you're smart, trying to be smart, but the emphasis on trying to be. Okay? You're all right, but you're not an intellectual. And as far as I'm concerned, you don't know nothing about me. But let me ask you this. What do you know about me? Did you know that I was an interpreter for a certified interpreter for the County of Los Angeles in the Spanish language? Nah, you didn't know that. You don't know anything about me. You think you do. And your little spins at things that people are saying negative about me are probably untrue, but I can't say anything because y'all ain't gonna say it out where I can get to it and refute it. But did you know that I speak? You didn't even know I speak Spanish, did you? Sí, yo hablo español desde un niña. Sí, con mis amigos, en todas mis escuelas, en colegio también. ¿Tú puedes hablar? ¿Tú puedes? ¿Tú puedes? ¿Me entiendes? ¿Tú puedes hablar español? No. But then I also speak French, dear, which is why I was able to go to France and speak the language while I was there. My first degree was in Spanish and French. Yeah, AA degree. Je parle français aussi. But the big one that I got my bachelor's in was in Chinese language. Although they made me take art and history and everything else. But yeah, Chinese language. Yeah. And let's see, 我说一点中文，你不好的人. Get somebody to translate that for you. Like I said, you all didn't know anything about me because I'm not really braggadocious. Okay? I know that whatever gifts I've been given, they were given to me. Okay? And they're gifts. But I didn't go around bragging to you all. But you think you're smarter than me, and my brain is rattled. And why you would think that, because of my age or because I'm a black woman. I don't know what it is. Why you would think that you, of all people, could say that about me. And I'm not going to allow anybody to insult me on the sly. Yeah, I put two and two together. I've been called a whole lot of names. Somebody else over there, them other people call me Norma Bates. You think I don't know about that? Hmm? So, you know, doing a little name thing, when you add it up, what you're talking about, if it's fits my circumstance, then I know you're talking about me. But just because you do the little political thing, without dissecting it and really looking at it and coming up with some analytical um, clues as to what's really going on in the world or anything else, you know, you have to go beyond opinion, because what you don't know is that I also have a political blog that I write. So when you say my brain is rattled, um, hmm, know what you're talking about. And that will serve all of you well, to get the facts before you open your mouth. And that's what you did not do with Yaya. All you had to do was ask them, well, did she call you? Or listen to what she had to say. But you swarmed her. And now I see why at the time Olivia was calling us flying monkeys. Hmm. But anyway, I digress. Like I said, you all didn't treat her right. You did her wrong. And I'm going to show you this because I do want you to see this so that you can see that I'm not just talking off the top of my head, because everything that I have said, uh, I have talked to people about. I have looked it up. They directed me where to look. And Google is a good friend as well. And let's see here. This one here. Let me see if I can do this properly. Boy. Okay. Now, hopefully you all can see this. And if not, I will put it on my community wall. But you can see here where it says cult members often react with anger or defensiveness when the cult leader is criticized or questioned due to a combination of factors. And you can ask this question yourself, and you can read it all. All of these things are the reason why. And, group identity, defense mechanism, all of that. So what you need to do is become more aware of what you are doing before you do it. And what you did was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. And I think that one of the things that I'm, trying to say is that, hey, um, basically, you all acted just like cult members. He should be able to come out somewhere and answer for himself without a group of people, you know, parroting him behind him, because nobody was talking to any of you. She was only speaking to the person who addressed her lupus and Sean Bradley. But here come all of y'all. Like I said, cult behavior 103. Check yourself.